I'm probably like 11 or 12 at this point. But we go to like some youth event, and we're in this church, and it's nighttime, and it's just a bunch of youth, like young kids. For once, it wasn't like a youth event where there's a bunch of old people. But I was there with my friend and my brother, and there's a preaching, the guy's preaching and all that. And at some point, he asked for people to, if someone has an ill relative that they want to get prayed for, raise your hand. And at the time, I actually did. My uncle, my dad's brother, was sick. I don't remember what it was, but he was sick. He was ill. He was. It was probably from drug use, if I remember correctly. But I didn't raise my hand. I was a shy kid. I didn't want to like raise my hand in the middle of all these kids and just be singled out. So I didn't do it. But as he goes along with his preaching, at the end there's an altar call, and I think he was saying, if you want to be freed from something, come up, or if you want to be freed from like sexual sin or lust, come up and we'll pray for you. And I contemplated it for a little bit, but eventually I don't know, like I could feel it in my heart, like I was like, yo, if I'm this nervous, it probably means I should go up.
Right.
So I walk up, and they had a few people praying for all the kids, and this guy walks up to me. He's like, okay, what are you here for? And I try to tell him, oh, my uncle, he's sick. I need prayer for my uncle. And he looks at me, because there's a lot of music on, so he has his like ear, inclined to my mouth so he can hear me. And then he looks up at me. He's like, but what are you really here for? And I was like, and I already feel the tears coming out. I was like, I need help with corn. And he started praying for me. And, I felt so liberated and free. And I don't know. It was powerful. And then so after that, the preacher invites everyone. He's like, if you want to speak in tongues, come up right now, and we'll have you speak in tongues. Da, da, da. Okay. And so I was like, yo, I want to speak in tongues. I was like so elated. And so I walk up to the altar to try and speak in tongues, and they line us up in a line, and he's on the stage, and he's like has the mic in his hand. And he's going one by one. He's like, repeat after me, whatever he says. And then he hands the mic to the kids. And from what I saw, at least from what I remember, they were all speaking. They were like, oh man! And then so it's going one, dun dun dun. It's getting closer and closer to me. I was just praying. They're like, bro, God, please. I was like, please, I swear, bro, this is gonna be so embarrassing if I'm like the one that doesn't speak in tongues or something. But he gets to me, and so I was so into the prayer and everything. He's like, repeat after me, and so he gives me the mic. He points it to me, and I repeat after him like the 2 words he said. Actually, at first I didn't. I just sat there because I thought my mouth was just gonna move.
Yeah.
I was like just expecting like just like uncontrollable vowels and consonants coming out from my tongue, and nothing happened. So after like maybe like 10-20 seconds, I'm like, oh shit. So I tried repeating after him. Nothing happened.
When he said "saca la bazooka," should have been a Honda. What is that? How does that sound? I don't know.
Like, saca la barca para la calle. Anda, planchame la camisa.
Nothing happened. I was like, huh. But ironically, or not ironically, but I guess luckily, I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't really take it in a bad way. I took it in, God just doesn't, he just decided not to give this to me for now.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I wasn't hurt. I wasn't like distraught.
You think it's necessary for you to speak in tongues?
No, definitely not. And I think I had that conception already there.
Okay.
Right? Because he didn't, I mean, if there was a moment I was going to speak in tongues, it would have been there. Right? And I didn't. So I had this, I kind of knew like, okay, it's okay. Right. I still had a moment. I'm still here praying. And at the end of the day, it's not about me and what I can get out of this. It's about God.
Right.
So, I just kept trying to repeat what he said. Nothing happened. Then he just moved on. And I guess moral of the story, you don't have to speak in tongues. Not everyone speaks in tongues. Yeah. It's okay. It is a blessing, but it's not a blessing that God may have for everybody. And that's okay.
I don't think you have to force it. and I mean, somebody can make you repeat things. My case, I didn't even know. Like, I was praying for it. Actually, I fasted. And I remember I called pastor and I told him, I think I'm speaking in tongues, because I got to a point where I was praying, literally praying, and loud music and everything, and I was praying, and I didn't realize that what was coming out of my mouth was something completely different. But I was praying like a normal prayer, like, hey, Jesus, come into my life right now. I need you. Yeah. But something else was coming out of my mouth, and so on. Do you have to speak? No. I mean, you're filled by the Holy Spirit when you receive salvation. Yeah, I mean, the greatest gift that we already have, like, inside. You don't have to speak in tongues, like, in order for you to be like, oh, I'm safe.
Right.
And what's sad is that a lot of people take that as criteria to judge a church.
Be holy.
Do people speak tongues in your church? How many people speak tongues in your church? as a gauge, as a meter, as to like how credible is your church? Like, what does it have to do with it?
Yeah, and I got to a point where, like, at an early stage, I first didn't know I was doing it. After I found out I was doing it, it came very naturally. And now it's almost like a second language or third language, because I speak Spanish too. But now it's almost like a third language. Like, I can do it without it, like forcing it. But I went through a stage where I'm like, okay, wait, I'm not trying to scare these youth away. Because I've been in youth ministry since I can remember. That I started attending church, but actually no, I served in every other ministry, and then boom, youth ministry, and that's when we started spending a lot of time together as you were growing up. So that didn't mark you, which is really good.
And I think that was part of my upbringing too, like my parents, Okay, they didn't pressure that on me,
That's cool.